For 100 years of history for Mel Foster Company, because of all their activity in housing, commercial development, and retail, that has resulted in millions of dollars that have contributed to the growth and development of the Iowa and Illinois Quad Cities.
My grandfather was from Columbus Junction, and he wanted to come to the big city, so he walked to Davenport, and he obtained a job with a tailor. And one day he was doing his work, and a gentleman was there, and he said, "You know, Mel, you'd be good in the real estate business." So he leased a storeroom in the Whitaker Building, downtown Davenport, and opened a one-man real estate office.
Mel Jr. He was a very wise guy, intuitive, generous, compassionate, and he knew that if somebody was dedicated enough to doing something, they would succeed.
I know Mel was a classy man, smart, intelligent. He read all the time. And one thing Mel Foster, probably the first thing he said to me was, "Your first offer is your best offer. Work with it."
I had met Mel Foster Jr. and I asked him if I could come see him. We talked for a while and I told him I needed a job. He started off by saying, "You are way too educated, you are way too green, and your hair is offensively long. But I want you to become a licensed realtor and come to work for me."
For me, it began back in 1972, and I had the opportunity to join the Mel Foster Company, and we built a community called the Lofts. We literally sold out the entire subdivision that day, and I was interviewed with the TV station, and I made the comment, "We're sold out." I got home and had a call from Mel Jr., and I thought, boy, is he gonna give me a big hurrah. And he chewed my fanny out. He said, "Young man, the Mel Foster Company is never sold out."
My dad actually joined the Mel Foster Company in 1952. My dad, through the years, worked very, very closely with Mel Foster Jr. in acquiring different farms in the Bettendorf area for future developments. And when you add up those numbers, came up to a little over 1,100 units. That comes out to somewhere close to 14% of all the housing, if you look at being for occupants. Mr. Foster worked very hard in establishing Bettendorf and helping grow.
I began my real estate career in 1976, and that was right before the farm crisis hit in 1982. I came in, met with Mel. 20 minutes into the interview, he said, "How would you like to go to work for me?" And I've been with him ever since.
Back in the early 70s, Mel Foster Jr. and my dad got together, and they came up with the idea that they wanted to try a different type of housing, which would be attached housing. And they started an addition called Cedar Wood. And that was the second complex or development of attached housing in the state of Iowa. Him and Mel Foster Jr. decided to buy the Freund Farm down on Devil's Glen Road. And they decided to bring down a new idea from Chicago. A little bit different arrangement as far as a housing. Instead of just being house after house on a straight street, they try to go ahead and have streets that have arcs or circles in it. It also has pools and tennis courts. It's called Deerbrook.
I started with the company in around 1985. We decided the Eldridge area was a prime place for residential development due to the proximity and the school district involved. We started with Rustic Ridge Estates, Townsend Farms Developers, Moose Tracks Development, Lincoln Road Developers, Eldridge Commercial, Eldridge Industrial, and then that led to Dexter Acres. With all those developments in place, that made us the #1 player in the real estate market in the Eldridge area.
My grandfather was the quintessential urban planner. He looked at the highways and he knew that there would be an interstate system coming. He took a good look at the land and the geography and the cities, and he decided that they were going to decide to put the interstate across the river here at the Quad Cities. So he bought the farms adjacent to the river and the interstate system on the Iowa side. And today the corporate offices are still sitting on that same property.
It was Mel Foster Sr. who traveled to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to the corporate headquarters of Alcoa and told them that if they would come and build a plant, he would get the land for them. It was Mel Foster Jr. who acquired the land for John Deere's Davenport Works.
Radisson was conceived on a cocktail napkin. Mel and his cohorts were talking about the future of Davenport, and he pulled it out of his genius, you could say, penned out all the locations and all the other buildings around, how they would complement the new hotel.
From the very beginning, Mel Foster Jr. and I hit it off very well. He kind of took me under his wing, and I was almost like a second son to him. Over the last 40 years, we developed over 22 farms that included over 100 subdivisions and 2,100 lots.
I always remember Dad and Mel Jr. talking to me about how important it was to work for a company that was diversified like Mel Foster Co. is. And now that I'm involved on the real estate side, I see it. You know, everybody has their part, and the residential side is more of the face of the company out in the community. But you have 3 divisions that are very successful and are big drivers of the company as a whole. Commercial real estate services, the insurance division, and then obviously the land development plays such a huge part in the success of the company.
The main function of Mel Foster Commercial is to work with property owners and business owners to help assist with their commercial real estate needs, whether that is building a new facility, acquiring a facility for their business, downsizing from a larger facility to a smaller facility, and adding locations throughout the region that help facilitate their business. We're really a counselor and advisor to them for their real estate needs.
Mel Foster Insurance has beginnings dating back to 1932 through the acquisition of an insurance and realty agency where they represented 18 property and casualty companies. In the 1990s, we grew to $25 million in direct written premium and represented over 55 property and casualty companies. And today we represent over 100 property and casualty companies, 75 life and health companies, over 10,000 clients, and write over $73 million in premium annually.
The TMI Home Warranty started in 1997. It was a joint venture between Mel Foster Company and Total Maintenance Incorporated. It works out very well. We have a great product. We're the only company in America that has continuous renewals, and that's a big plus.
Well, the future of our development company is extremely exciting. We have a lot of land and inventory, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to expand. Currently, we have 800 to 1,000 acres of land earmarked for residential development. That inventory will not only have a huge impact on our company, but the communities that we serve, as well as our region as a whole.
Rob Fitt called me one day and said, would you like to have lunch, which was unusual for Rob. And he notified me that he had just become president of Mel Foster Company and wanted to know if I'd be interested in selling my company to Mel Foster and then come to Mel Foster and run the real estate division. So when we were able to merge with Mel Foster, put 2 number ones together, we had an instant market domination.
I ran a small real estate company in Galesburg, Illinois, and I wanted to propose a merger to them. I met with Price Bowie. We put together the deal with a handshake, and it was the best business decision I made.
We had offices above what was Schneff's Jewelers, and we had access to both sides of the river. It was a pretty successful location at the time.
Things have moved north in the Quad Cities, and we moved along with it as downtown has transitioned from an office market to more of a retail and living community.
Mel Foster, making it happen. Mel Foster.
We were working with a marketing company trying to come up with something new, and they came to us with the idea of making it happen. And we decided that it was going to be the best kept secret in the Quad Cities. And so we had a large meeting, and then they dropped the curtain and showed the Making It Happen. The agents were excited, and Making It Happen and Made It Happen was such a great idea that Mel Foster is still using that today.
A huge key to success at Mel Foster Co. is the continuity of leadership. I think it's very unique that we've only had 3 CEOs in all these years. You know, obviously it started with Mel Sr. and Mel Foster Jr. was the second CEO, and then now currently is my dad, Rob Fick.
My relationship with Rob Fick goes back many years, starting on the racquetball court and then joining with him with the Mel Foster Company. And over the years, we not only worked together, we became very, very close friends. And I think that friendship meant more to me than anything to this day.
As you look back over history, we've been very fortunate to have Mel's successor, Rob Fick, and all the individual office managers follow in his footsteps. They're smart people, they're compassionate people, they're generous people.
What I find Rob to be is, number one, is not only a great businessman, and I've learned a tremendous amount about the real estate and the development business from him, but he's also a very fair person. whatever we said we were going to do, we did.
So when Rob Fick came to the company as the head, I was extremely happy, and he and my father were such good friends. There was a camaraderie between them that just couldn't be matched. The way it worked out was just perfect in the end. Rob Fick has turned out to be the most talented executive that I have ever seen in my life.
The Fosters and the Ficks have known each other for years. The executives had like-mind ideas. I think all in all turned out to be a really great thing for both families. Represented well by one family and now represented well by another.
Mel Foster Co. has always been a family-owned and operated business, and both Mel Foster Sr. and Jr. wanted it to continue that way. I feel very fortunate that they chose me to continue on the legacy of Mel Foster Co. I have 4 children, and they're all involved in the company, and I hope to have them be at the beginning of another century. I think one of the greatest benefits of a company is the integrity of our agents and our employees. We're very fortunate to have a great staff and great agents that have the same value system that the company was originally founded on 100 years ago.
One of the many things I'm really proud of with Mel Foster is, as I'm out showing houses, all the Mel Foster signs I do see. And I also really love all of our big community events and seeing how much Mel Foster sponsors those, from the big sprints to the John Deere Classic, and of course all the t-shirts that I always see everybody wearing. I love seeing the big MF everywhere I go.
I just love that Mel Foster's so involved in our local community that they give back to people, and giving back, to me, builds relationships in our community.
At Mel Foster, we know that we're only as strong as our community, and special events like the BICS and the Brady Street Sprints, where all of our agents and staff can get together and enjoy the community, is a lot of fun.
Giving back to charities has always been a huge part of my family's life, and we are so proud to be part of a company who also believes in that philosophy. Whether it's through time or financial help, Mel Foster Company has always supported small businesses and local charities in our community.
Mel Foster Company was always very interested in helping the community to give back. And one of our projects was a duck race. And we raised a lot of money for different charities through that.
We did Color the Quads for 4 years. The agents and staff really all rallied around each other. Some agents ran, some people donated their time to fill paint buckets and things like that, and we really made a good time of it.
Pumpkin Day has become a great tradition in the community, and the agents enjoy it just as much as the clients. It's turned into quite the extravaganza. It's just a ton of fun, and everybody looks forward to doing it every year.
Our steak fry takes place in August, and it's just a yearly event that we get together, our management and staff, and they cut, cook, and serve steaks to our top agents and producers. Everybody looks forward to it. It's one of our best events of the year.
Well, as far as the future of the company is concerned, we're very fortunate to have a lot of young people that are in key management roles that will help continue the operation for years to come. So after the first 100 years, we're now looking forward to the second 100 years.